All right, SSL Family Dad with Simple Suburban Living, and today we're going to talk all about Garden of Eden or Back to Eden gardening. All right, so there's a lot of information out there, a lot of false information as always. You know, sometimes you go out on YouTube and the internet and you look up certain things and all these people have these grand ideas about gardening and all this stuff and all these crazy types of gardening and, you know, things you can't even pronounce. And there are a lot of great ideas out there, but the bottom line is the simplest things are usually the best. I want to talk specifically today about using a lot of mulch in gardening and, you know, around trees and orchards and all kinds of different things. I'm going to show you how we use it here in a few different areas and what it does for you. We've been doing this for a few years and just found a lot of really clear advantages of it. So the first thing I'll talk about very briefly is I've done a video on this in the past. I won't go into too much detail. I'll put a link at the top as always in that card system. You can click on the I think it's over here in the corner. We get all of our mulch for free, so we never pay. You don't pay for this stuff. You don't buy this in bags. You should never pay for this stuff because you can contact just about any tree company, city park, city organization. There's somebody giving this stuff away around your area. I can almost guarantee it, unless you live in the desert. This stuff is waste material, wood chips, pine needles, all this kind of stuff. They clear out trees along roads and in parks and everywhere. They shred it up and they dump it somewhere. They give it to somebody, or they throw a bunch of dye on it and they sell it back to you in bags. So, you know, if you're interested in how we get our mulch, check that video out. But this area here is kind of an extra area in the back of our yard. We've deemed this kind of our orchard, but we use it as a multi-purpose. You'll see we've got some giant pumpkins, sunflowers, and I've just planted a few more tomatoes in here that we had extra back here as well. Mulch does a lot for you, and let me kind of take you in close and show you a couple things and how it looks after a few years. Okay, so this is an area again right on that area where I was in our orchard, where we've you know, deep mulched or mulched this whole entire area, and it's been very, very hot here, so almost 90 degrees for the last week or so. I did water 2 days ago, and it's been just baking in the sun out here for the last couple days. And if you just move the mulch away here just a little bit, you can see immediately how wet it is. I mean, there's almost water sitting here. You'll see cardboard under here also. I'll talk a little bit about that. But this is just, I mean, this is wet. There's worms all over in here. In fact, I'm kind of surprised I didn't run across some already, but there's usually a bunch of worms around on here, and this will stay wet for a week, even in the 90-degree heat in the sun. And this isn't even covered with that much mulch. You know, we only had about 1 inch of mulch on it. Now, we don't use any landscape fabric either. This is all just cardboard boxes. Actually, the local dollar store here, I just went in and asked them if, you know, it happens to be like a little dollar store near our house. I asked them if we could, there's a worm, if we could, you know, go out back and grab a bunch of boxes, and they said sure. So we've got an unlimited supply of boxes, so we just come out here and whenever we want to kind of expand this area or add to our orchard area, and just lay a bunch of these boxes down right on top of the grass. We don't do anything with the ground underneath it, and then just cover them with this mulch. And it works awesome. So you have this constant layer of wood chips or mulch here. It's made of all kinds of various materials. There's pine needles, there's sticks, there's bark, there's dirt, sometimes there's corn stalks in this stuff we get, and all kinds of weird things about the sticks and that. All kinds of different trees, hardwood, softwood. And you have this excellent source of nutrients that's constantly breaking down at the bottom level and keeping your soil just super moist. It works just absolutely awesome. So this is an area here just by the bottom of one of our apple trees. This is our Honeycrisp, one of our best producers normally. This year it's been horrible for apples, but you can see, just digging down a little bit here, you can see it's starting to get darker and we're moist already. We've got cardboard that's broken down. Now this is a deeper, older layer of mulch, and this has been around here for a little bit longer. Get down in here, got some worms. Get down right here. Now remember, I didn't do anything with the soil, and this is what we're starting to get to. You'll see kind of a finer dark soil that we're breaking down to. Lots of worms in here. They love eating all this junk. Lots of worms. And those are the workers. Lots of other bugs in here too. I don't know what they do, but I'm sure it's something useful. But you'll start to see this, the wood chips start to break down, and they'll start to turn into a real nice compost. But one thing, I think there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. One of the best things, just as far as weeding goes, you can see we've got some grass that likes to come in from the other side of our fence here. There's a field over there, and the grass just roots right underneath and likes to pop up through this mulch. But it's so easy to pull it up when it's in this mulch. Root and all, 2 fingers, that's all it takes. And then that stuff won't grow back for quite a while. I mean, this stuff will very easily, all this grass and stuff will pop right out of here. So it makes weeding so much easier, even if you do have anything that grows up through this. Now, we don't have this as thick as we would like it. If you get this stuff thick enough, you don't even have to worry about that. So this method of gardening, I guess you'd say, and this is really our orchard area, and eventually this will be all grown up. We won't be able to garden in it, but we also garden back here as well. Just use up every bit of space we can because this gets decent sun back here. But this whole area being, you know, with the wood chips or the mulch or whatever you want to call it, everything grows very well back here. The trees grow well, everything else does, and it retains moisture. I guess number one thing that this does is retain moisture. Now, the myths, there's so much false information out there, guys. The whole back to Eden, I know there's a couple videos on YouTube, oh, back to Eden, this great thing. There's a lot that they leave out. Good soil takes years to build. You cannot just dump a bunch of mulch, wood chips, on clay or sandy soil and then start gardening in it. It's just, that doesn't do you any good. It takes years for this stuff to break down. At the very minimum, a full cycle, full season or calendar year for you to start getting the benefits of the wood chips. It does not happen the first year, really not until the second year. And then after that, you continue to build that soil and it gets better and better and better. But you're not gonna just throw this stuff out in a garden and it's gonna work. What it does work great for right away, keeping weeds down, retaining moisture. Those 2 things are gonna happen. You're gonna see the benefits right away. So even if you're traditionally gardening, you know, not raised beds or anything like that, use this stuff in your paths, wrap this around your plants, especially for things like watermelons and cantaloupes and other things that don't re-root as they grow. You know, it works excellent for retaining moisture. I'm telling you guys, this stuff can sit out here for a week with no rain, and we can come in here and dig an inch into the soil and it's just wet. So it's excellent for that. But you know, don't believe the idea that you're just going to start, you know, growing in wood chips. It just doesn't work like that. You need to have nitrogen in your soil in order to start the composting process. And I've done videos on composting. I'll talk about that, or I'll put a link to that. As the wood chips break down though, the worms are going to start eating that stuff. As it stays wet, bugs and mildews and bacterias and molds and mushrooms and all kinds of other funguses and things like that start to break it down, and it releases the most wonderful nutrients, you know, all the micronutrients, all the stuff that you get from these, you know, buying all this junk fertilizer and rock dust and all this other junk that you can pay money for. You don't need all that. You can get it right from this. All your sulfur and your magnesium and potassium, especially a lot of potassium in these hardwood chips and other types of woods. You know, all the other micronutrients that you can think of that are in this. So definitely something I would recommend. I'll go ahead and shoot some little clips around of the gardening that we have and where we've used the wood chips, but I just wanted to take a minute and talk about that, and hopefully you guys found that informational and see what we're doing here. Questions or anything to add, guys, put it down below. Hit thumbs up. Just reach down right now and tap that thumbs up button. I really appreciate it. And subscribe to our channel if you're not already, guys. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Over at simplesuburbanliving.com, we've got all kinds of other stuff that we share there, and I'd love to interact with you guys that way. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.